I'm delighted to be joined in the studio today by Muryel Boulay. Muryel is a member of the Marlow Town Council and the Mayor of Marlow. Muryel, thank you for taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule to come and have a conversation with me today.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. And it's really exciting for me because I've met you before, obviously outside of this role, and I'm really passionate about all the other things you do outside of that. So I want to go right back, if it's okay with you, and just ask you a little bit about yourself. Now, I can already tell by your beautiful accent that you haven't always lived in Marlow.
I haven't, but I've been here, I think it's 23 years. Before that, I was in China, and before that, I had a brief spell in Australia, but I was born in France, in the south of Brittany. Yeah, but I've spent more time in the UK than I have in France. So this is home, really.
But it hasn't taken away your lovely accent, has it?
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. It doesn't make me less of a Marlow resident, though.
No, it doesn't at all. You are absolutely a Marlow resident. I do wonder, did you do all your schooling and everything
Yeah.
in France?
I did. And yes, so I did all my schooling. Then I did my thesis in Australia. Then my first job was in China. And then, the rest of my career has been in the UK. Traveling the world still, but based in the UK.
What took you on your travels initially? So what took you out of France? What was that started that off for you?
I just always wanted to travel. I think I'm curious. I love discovering new places, new people, new habits, new cultures. And I was lucky to be given the opportunity to do so. Yeah. Australia, I was fascinated to be able to go on the other side of the planet, to be honest. I think that was the primary curiosity, is just, wow, what is on the other side? China, I had my partner there at the time, so it was easier, but it was an amazing adventure. And coming here after that, it was, I was looking for a job, and, the specific thing that I wanted to do happened to be available here. So that's what made me come, and I'm so glad I did, because it gave me opportunity to, first of all, visit the UK. I always traveled a lot for my work, even within the UK. But it gave me the opportunity after that to travel the world, to, touch all continents. And I feel I'm privileged.
That's lovely, isn't it? So what was the working life that you started off with? So when you left school and you moved into your first job, what was it that you wanted to do? What did you want to be? How did that look for you starting out?
Oh, wow. That was such a long time ago. It's a bit skewed, because I started working in China in a brandy bottling factory all by myself. And that was not what I had in mind in terms of starting my career. It's just I wanted to stay in China, and that what was available at the time, and that's what I did. But when I came to the UK, it's actually what I wanted to do at the time. I studied something quite specific, which is about the science behind how we taste food, how we smell, touch, taste all the flavors, etc. So that's how I was trained. So that was the primary reason for me to be in the UK. I've done many other things since, but that's how I landed here.
So you left France just because you wanted to travel, which took you to China, and that was the first job you came across. And then your love for what you wanted to do started right here in the UK, which you said was about 23 years ago?
Oh, I know, it's more than that. I landed in July 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, yes.
That sounds like a really interesting job, because obviously our senses are highly important, aren't they? What we can see, sense, taste and touch. So the science behind that must be absolutely fascinating.
It is, because it's interesting how, we've all developed, tools and equipment to measure all sorts of things in labs for making sure the food we eat is safe. But the thing that we don't know how to do, other than by using humans, is to assess the taste of food. We don't have instruments to do that.
No.
Or there are instruments that are doing something, but it doesn't replicate what a human can do. And trying to make humans doing it in a dispassionate way is really difficult as well, because food is quite primary for us, and nobody is neutral. Well, very few people are neutral about what they eat.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of emotions behind what you eat
I
and
imagine.
how you react to the food you put in your mouth, you know. You don't feel well, you eat chocolate, you know, you want, you know, comfort food, you put baked potatoes in the oven. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, if it's
It's
cold.
not
Yeah.
neutral, you know, it always have a certain foods meet certain state of mind, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, the science behind understanding that and understanding the functional property of a food product is really interesting.
Wow, that is. And did that continue your love of travel within that work? So I imagine.
Well, actually, you know, I traveled quite a lot around Europe to train people how to taste. I was working for a biscuit company at the time. So, I traveled to teach people how to taste.
Tell me briefly what teaching people how to taste looks like.
You give them words.
Okay. Can we do a role play of this?
So let's say you have
Like my coffee.
your coffee.
Yes.
Well, but if you want to taste your biscuits, you can. Yes. Okay. So your coffee. The taste of your coffee will depend on the quality of the water, the quantity of coffee that you put in, where the coffee comes from, you know, how fine it's been ground, how much milk you've put in it, etc., and the temperature. You know, if you put a super hot coffee in your mouth, you won't be able to taste it because you will burn your mouth.
Yeah.
If it's cold, you won't have the full flavor of the coffee because it's cold. So not all the flavor of the coffee will come out. So, and it's also about learning to say, well, it's not about you liking or not, but it's to be able to say, it's a bit bitter. There's some fruity notes, you know, it's green. It's been too roasted, not roasted. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's learning how to describe in factual manner what you perceive.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I suppose that can stop people from doing all sorts of things, like needing to eat too excessively, to really understand what they put into their body, because you're taking yourself out of that comfort, that emotional response into the physical response to enjoy. Yeah.
Have you done that exercise? I do that with sometimes with my yoga teacher. You know, is eat mindfully a grape.
Well, I'm a mindfulness teacher, so I do the raisin all the time.
Yeah. And that makes such a big difference.
Oh my goodness, it does.
Yeah, the starting with the touch and being present and know what you have in your hands and then putting it in your mouth and the texture of the raisin in your mouth, etc. So it completely changes the experience of eating. And then all of a sudden, you don't want 12 of them. One is enough because you were present when you were eating it.
I know, which is huge, isn't it?
Yes.
We absent-mindedly, you know, those tiny boxes of raisins that people get, you just empty the box in your hand, chuck the whole lot in, and that's it.
Woof. And you don't know what you've done. You have forgotten 2 seconds later, you don't know what you've done.
No, and raisins actually make quite an interesting sound. You know, when you squeak them up to your ear.
Okay.
So I do this quite a lot, this exercise, and people always think, oh, this is pointless. But actually, when you've it's been there and you've squeezed it and you've moved it around, you've seen all the lines and the different colours in the light, and then put it to your ear, it actually makes a real sort of squeaking sound.
Okay.
Which you just wouldn't think, would you?
I need to try. I haven't done the sound test on my raisins.
Yeah, we could do it. And with children, I usually use chocolate buttons, but that's a lot messier. Because, you know,
I can imagine.
Yeah, so that's always an interesting one. But yeah, it's fascinating.
It is.
So you settled down in Marlow after doing this wonderful work. And did your career, and then did you bring a family into this area and friends and a network? And did your career stay the same? What was the next part?
Oh, so there's a lot of question in one in there. Okay, so on the family front, it's easy. I came by myself. I stayed by myself. I'm by myself. So that's that one done.
Yes.
Plenty of friends, though, that I'm really, really grateful for. But on the career, no, my mind is built in such a way that I need to change what I do on a very frequent basis. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It is a thing.
But that's okay, though. So is what my other part of that question was as well is, so do you still have your family in France?
Yes.
Or
yes.
So a lot of your family are still in France?
All my family is still in France, definitely.
So you get to go back and forth?
Yes. Not super frequently, but, you know, I've been away for 30 years now. We used to, you know, say we love each other in different ways. But yeah, career-wise, I've done many, many things since the biscuit tasting job. And that's allowed me to spend extensive time in, you know, different countries, not countries where you necessarily go on holidays, but countries where there are plenty of beautiful people trying to do lovely things. So, and now it's a different stage of my life where I am in Marlow 99% of the time, and it's a great opportunity to be really present and serve the community, which I couldn't have done 10 years ago because I was traveling all the time.
Which must have just brought so much experience. I mean, to have that sense of belonging in different places with different people, but always wanting that adventure to explore these new experiences. And then now, I imagine, which we will come on to your newest role as well within Marlow as the mayor, but that must bring, although that sense of grounding in this physical place, but just all the variety that you like when you're moving around.
So what I've learned, it was not easy at the beginning. It's really not easy, but you learn to, you discover in a different way. You look at things that you've seen all your life differently. You know, it's the discovery is still there. It's you learn to, you bring new experiences to yourself in a different way. You know, it doesn't require you being on the plane. You just, yeah, my trick, which catches me on a regular basis, but I say yes to most things. You know, Muryel, do you want to? Oh, yes. You know, try everything once. And if you don't like it, don't do it again, you know. But I think it was a, like you say, you use the word grounding. Definitely operating mostly from Marlow is very, very grounding. But the discovery has not lessened. You know, it's still there, but it's in a different format. I'm discovering people in Marlow. I'm discovering, you know, I just had a really interesting conversation with Marlow Town Band, you know, a minute ago, and that's discovery. Yeah. I had no idea, you know, how the band worked and how what they did, and now I know, and that is discovery. I've met a new person, a beautiful person at that. So it's all, I think it's a matter of reframing.
It's wonderful as well, isn't it? Because you're really harbouring that sense of connection and community, and that must just be everything. And within the role that you're lucky enough to experience, there is so much to see here. I mean, I feel really privileged being in here on Marlow FM, actually, because the amount of wonderful people that do things locally in this community that I've never even heard of, you know, that make the flower beds look beautiful, and the pop-up shops where you've got loads of local creators in there. There's so much wonder and people coming together, and it's just amazing, really. So to have that mindful exploration every day of things right in front of you that you so often miss.
And you know, I think for me also, where people from Marlow, there's a lot of beautiful people around, absolutely, you know, inner beauty I'm talking about. I'm not here to judge outer beauty, but it's our surroundings. We are so lucky to live by the riverside. You know, we've got beautiful hills. You know, we have plenty of wooded areas around us. That is also a constant source of wonder. You know,
it is.
I've got footpaths that I go to because there are some absolutely amazing oak trees that have been here for hundreds of years. And as an example of, you know, places where you go, wow. Yeah. And it's something that I've seen before, but each time you go, you acknowledge their presence. You know, I think it's also another very grounding practice.
And tell me, in your busy life, you know, there must be lots of things you do just for you. What are your favourite things to do in and around Marlow?
So being outside by the river, and soak it all in. Yes, definitely. A dose of river, you know, walk every day is part of my well-being routine. Definitely. What I do I love, you know, walking down the high street and going to places where I've been going for, you know, over 20 years now, and having that connection with the, you know, with the shopkeeper, and you know, I like that. You know, how are you today? You know, this small chat that is a recognition that you belong here, I belong here, and we form part of the bigger community.
Yeah, completely.
What else do I do I do a lot of yoga. I roll my mat wherever my mat can go, really. Yeah, so these are the main thing that I do in Marlow, is trying to connect with my surroundings.
Yeah, and that belonging, like you said, that acknowledgement from someone in a coffee shop or a cafe is everything, isn't it? A friendly smile, or just, oh, how are you? It's just really, you can feel it, you know, your heart opens, theirs does, and it's just that sense of, it grounds you even in that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's lovely.
And even walking down the high street where you bump into 5 people that and you don't say much, but a little squeeze on the arm, a smile, something to say, oh yeah, we both belong here. I think that's really, really precious.
Yeah, I do. I think it's undervalued, all this stuff, completely. Oh, I could talk about that for a long time, but we might touch back on that shortly. But
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, because it's no secret that you are the mayor of Marlow, Muriel, and I think it's such a wonderful, but it must be challenging. Tell me, why did you decide that this was something you wanted to do? Like, how did this all open up for you? Because were you a member of the town council beforehand? So it all happened at once. What was
Yes.
the desire or the passion or the drive to step into this role, and how did it happen?
I'm at an age where I want to give back. Yeah, I've talked to you briefly about all my wonderful adventures around the world, but now is the time where, I feel that it's right for me to give back to the community, and there's plenty of ways to give back, but being part of the town council where you can support your fellow residents is really a privilege, and it's a privilege that is worth preparing for. And I think the desire was to create even a greater sense of community in Marlow, because I know that it's a very fertile soil. People are already very active, but I believe and I would like us to do more. And if you want to make a difference, being in a town council is a great place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being part of the town council, what does that look like? So there must be lots of different members doing different roles. Did you have to sort of integrate and introduce yourself into that before becoming and putting yourself forward as the mayor?
The way to become a mayor is you become a town councillor, and then the town councillors elect the mayor. Yeah, so they had to understand what I wanted to do, or it was a desire to have a go and see what it means to represent the town. I think it's an interesting role, because suddenly you represent 15,000 people,
I know.
and
That's a big voice,
it's
Muriel.
a big voice. It's a big voice, and especially when you've got a French accent, and people say, "Well," but it was for me. It's again, it's a discovery journey. Yes, it's why not? Let's do it. Let's understand what it means, and the best way to understand what it means is you do it. Yeah, and you do it with the best you can, and you being also. For me, what is important is to be vulnerable, to say, okay, it's the first time I do it. If I make mistake, I'm asking for forgiveness. But all I can tell you is I'm putting my whole in it. I'm doing my best.
Yeah, I love that. That is such an important message, Muriel, because I'll be honest, until you were the mayor of Marlow, I didn't have as much of an understanding of it as I do now, just purely because obviously I've bumped into a couple of things where you were in your role as mayor, but prior to that, in things, to help your well-being and, mutual love of yoga and being outside and things like that. But I think, how amazing is it that you've put yourself out there? I really agree with what you've said as well. If you want to know how to do something, you have to do it. You have to step in, and we all make mistakes. It's important to have a level of vulnerability and to show everybody else that it's also okay to do the same, and you learn as you go. So you were obviously voted in. Tell me what you've learned.
Oh, what I've learned is the mayor have got a set agenda. So you have to do certain things that are, I don't know when they were decided or how they were decided, but they are a certain event in the year where you are expected to turn up. So town regatta, the Marlow Carnival, the Remembrance Day, these are set that you have to do. And then everything around this is you decide how you engage with the community. You can stay at home and just put on the chain only during, 3 times a year if you want to. But it's not the idea. The idea is being of service to your residents and listen to them. And the only way to do that is to go and meet them.
Yeah.
So that's why I have the privilege to meet hundreds of people every month. And forgive me, everybody, for not remembering your name next time I see you. But I'm still grateful for having met you. But it's I give you an example because where we are, I had the pleasure to spend a few moments with the people that go to the Britannia every second Monday of the month, where Charlie, the manager of the Britannia pub, offers coffee and cake to
Oh,
elderly people in Marlow. And I think it's such a lovely thing to do. People go and they know that every single Monday of the month they will meet, like-minded people, and Charlie will be there, and me being there is just to support her in
yeah.
a gentle manner, to say, yeah, bravo, hey, it's fantastic what you're doing. So, it's that kind of thing. And what I'm trying to do, and that's why I'm so busy, is to do as many things like that as possible, because I want to support the residents.
I mean, I just think it is invaluable what you're doing. And like you say, you could do those 3 events a year, but it's not about that. That's not why you put yourself
No.
forward. That's not why you were elected to give it a shot this year. You're really putting yourself into the community. I mean, I've seen you at a good few events myself and saw you at the lovely event that the charity ran near Higginson Park and saw you do a speech there. And I think you're getting involved in the community and meeting real people that need to have their kind of work supported, because it's really difficult to know what your value is or believe in your value, but we all have that. So for them to continue essentially doing the exact same thing they've always been doing, but you're just supporting their mission, their purpose becomes stronger and the community then becomes stronger off the back of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for me, the magic power of the chain of the mayor is to be visible. And if I
Yes.
can, with the chain, shine the light on all those beautiful people doing all those amazing things, then that's what I'm going to do, because this is not about me, it's about them.
Yeah.
Do you see? It's like a magic torch, and you shine the light on all those great things that are happening around town.
I mean, I can feel that from you. I think it's just lovely to give people that opportunity, because it's so much bigger than I think what. And, I can hold my hands up and say I didn't have a really deep understanding of what the mayor of the town did. You see people turn up to, through history and through my life, the mayor of Marlow or the mayor of High Wycombe or wherever you are, they show up to events, don't you? But not really having an understanding. And I suppose in your position, you're giving other people that gift, because I've now got more of an understanding of what you do. And from that, you're giving the community a bigger understanding of what all these wonderful people are doing out there, shining that light on them, like you say, so that we can kind of come together more and make that bigger and ripple out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me tell you another example, something that, I'm allowing myself to be proud of, is we did a community organization forum mid-October. And again, it's the power of being in a council where we put all the community organizations that wanted to attend and put them together. And we basically run a massive speed dating event where people were talking to each other and understand more about what they were doing and how they can collaborate, etc. It was a first shot. It was not perfect, but we're going to do it again. But for me, it's to, and I haven't invented anything. I'm just a connector, yeah, and that's how I see my role, is connecting people. And also I only represent the residents, yeah. That's why I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm working for them. So being there and being present for people who are really putting themselves out there to do something for the community is the least I can do.
Honestly, I just think it's such a lovely thing to be able to just even hear you sharing what you're doing for the community, because every part of me knows that we need more of this. And it's actually why I like being in here, to almost connect people's voices and stories. And the most wonderful people come in that have set up a business doing something, and they've all got a history, and they're turning that into just this absolute gold that's giving back in some way. And it's just missed, and for you to, be connecting these people, and the speed networking is what I actually went, not out of choice. Well, it was a choice. I know everything's a choice, but I decided to go to the business show in London not too long ago, because some people I knew were going, and I went up there and I thought, oh, I'll meet people. Like whatever I do in life, I think I'll always meet people, and there's value in that. And I did meet a couple of really great people in queues, but they had a speed networking. And I think just that, just 1 minute of swapping and sharing who you are with someone, you just never know what that's going to do or what it's going to bring. And yeah, I just think the role that you've got and how you're demonstrating how serious you are about it, it's just magical.
But we're going back to what we said earlier. For me, it's like the mindful eating of a raisin. You know, this being present for 1 minute for somebody else. Yeah. Suddenly you have 1 minute with that person. So if you look, if you don't pay attention, you miss it. It's gone. The minute is gone. So I think it's another way of being mindful and being centered and give each other this precious gift of time and presence.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Time is like the most precious gift.
Absolutely.
I think there's nothing more valuable than time. I mean, I was asked what I wanted for Christmas the other day, and I said time, because I think when you have time with people or in a place and you really notice it, it is invaluable. And is what you're doing, Muryel, is by doing all these things and these events and meeting these people. I mean, like we said, all these things are there. They're happening. You're not making them happen, but you are bringing the awareness to that, like the raisin. You know, you're making people aware of what is there so that it can be seen and felt. And then from that, it just gets stronger and it gets bigger and that light gets brighter. You know, it's already there. So
And the other thing that I'm hoping in doing what I'm doing is to show people that it's possible. Yeah, you have an idea, but you're not sure, and it might not be the right time now, and you don't know. And then suddenly you meet somebody who's done something. And then you say to yourself, why waiting? Yeah, I think also we all hopefully giving people visibility so that they can validate their own aspiration. Do it. In another life, I will try to create art. I will. I've got something creative in me that I don't have time to play with.
you will.
But
It's coming next, I feel.
But somebody told me, but no, don't wait for the next life. Do it now. Yeah. Do it now. And if it's not perfect, doesn't matter, but start now. And I think that's what I want to say to people is you've got those bright ideas, you've seen your neighbors struggling with something and you want to do something for them, and you're thinking maybe there's other people who would benefit from that. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. And then by going and talk to people who've made the jump, it's to show to others that, it's okay to jump. Do you see what I mean?
I completely see what you mean. And I think we spend a lot of time, I mean, we're learning, I know, but worrying about what other people think, thinking we're not good enough to do it, that there isn't enough time, enough money, enough resource. But doing something small, I've had a real learning in this the past couple of years. And now I will just say yes. I then worry about it during a bit. I'm like, oh my God, why have I said yes? But I'm already in it then. And I just let the energy carry me, because I feel if we just lead forward, with that energy of love and presence and connection, you really can't go wrong. And it is scary. Things don't always work out, but that doesn't matter. It's better to have tried and failed, they say, don't they, than to never have tried at all.
Absolutely. And also, it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's okay to fail. Yeah?
It is.
And I think we operate in a world that more and more discomfort is suddenly you've got a pill to pop or you've got something to make discomfort disappear. But my experience is you learn so much when you're uncomfortable, and you don't learn so much when you're comfortable.
No, I know.
So I think discomfort is how we learn, and it also tells you that you've put yourself out there. It's not great, but hey, you've done it. You've shown courage. You've been brave. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't work now, because you've met that person and you know that doesn't work for you. Whereas before you didn't know. So there's always something out of it. I
know. And don't you find as well, I don't know about you, but I'm quite comfortable sitting with discomfort now, like difficult emotions, hard times. I know they're there, and it doesn't, tears don't faze me. If I need to be with it, I'm okay to move through it, because I know that that's good. But I've realized that sometimes it became more comfortable for me to sit in that space for a long time, because I knew how to do that. And actually, it's what we're really most scared of, is what if it actually works out? I think that's the real fear. It's like we go through life thinking, what if it doesn't? Actually, I think the real fear is like, what if I get that dream? What do we do when we get there? And it's crazy, really, because it's almost like, well, what are we actually scared of? But that's okay.
You know, that's a good point, actually. I think when it works, and it does work more often than it doesn't, it gives you the energy to try the next thing.
Yeah.
It's just, it shows you that you know how to fall on your feet, you're capable, you know, it boosts your confidence so that you can do more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I think that's how I see it. It's not about being cocky and saying I'm the best or anything. It's just, oh, that works. Well, let's do more of it, shall we?
Yeah, well, let's at least try. you know, and-
Yes.
Or if you don't know how, but it's something you want to do, like you said, just ask someone or go to someone that's already doing it and ask for a bit of advice.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. So you will do your art and creative stuff. What would you create, Muryel? What will you create, should I say?
What I will do, I would love to explore. I like yarn, I like textile, I like embroidery, I like all those needle things.
Yeah, lovely.
And what I will try to do is to create art pieces with these material.
Wow.
So I shall report back when I have tried.
Yes, lovely. I would love to hear more about that. We can have a
Thank
part
you.
2, can't we?
We could indeed.
So tell me, what is next for Muryel, Mayor of Marlow, between now and the end of the year?
Christmas before the end of this year.
Yes.
Oh gosh. So I've got quite a lot of formal appointments still. I have a superb birthday party that I'm really looking forward to. So I can be not the mayor, you know, I can be just Muryel. It's
Yeah.
plenty already. And I will go to see my family at Christmas. So I'm crossing the channel for Christmas. And
Oh,
then
nice.
back for the new year here, full of bins and ready to carry on. That's
Yeah.
the plan.
Brilliant. And have you got any exciting things lined up for next year?
In terms of for the town and
Yeah, for the town.
yes.
You don't have to share them. I just wonder if there's much lined up.
There are things lined up that are not fully cooked yet, so I'm gonna keep the mystery on, but it's more community celebrations and it's more community-based events, definitely.
That'll be nice. So if anyone's listening and is inspired about what you shared and they might be in the middle of a project, not know how to get it started, want some help or want to share that and have some support, how can they get in touch, Muryel, with you or the council?
There is a email address on the website. It starts with office@marlowtowncouncil.gov.uk. Please check. And the office will pass on the message to me. I just also want to say that what's coming next year is events to support the 2 charities that I've selected for the Mayor Charities this year, which are Wild Marlow and Brighter Future Together. They are both, future looking charities, and they're both doing something very different. But I think it's important to look at the future, give the kids of the town a future by protecting the environment, but also helping them thrive.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I've actually done a bit of work with Brighter Futures together last year and donated just some meditations for teens.
Oh, that's so kind.
Sessions in the town. And it was really interesting, but it just goes to show actually, Muryel, for anyone that's listening, I did that. I gave the meditation session, which I'm comfortable doing in front of adults. And I was so uncomfortable because, teenagers don't want to be there. I had a few dead eyes to say what she's doing. I thought, I've got to push through. I've got to do it. I'm here to deliver something that I know might help one. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? If we can just help one.
Absolutely.
But I felt so uncomfortable in front of the teenagers, more so than the adults, because I thought, I feel like they're judging me, which they probably were, but that's okay because we have to push through it.
Absolutely. And I bet that one might have said, oh, wow, but 10 felt wow and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And 20 others said, oh, what is that about? You touch them in one way or another, and they might have never experienced that before. So I think it's the concept of, you give a gift, but once it's given, it's not in your control.
No, they've got to then do what they will. But I think that's right. I think it's just the opportunity to connect with people and to give something, and then the rest just takes its own course, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, I have absolutely loved speaking to you today, Muriel. Thank you so much. I'm just going to share for anyone that's listening, if you want to get in touch with the council, find out what's coming up, how you can get involved or get support, it's marlow-tc.gov.uk. And on there, you can find out the phone number, email, contact us, and their vision. So do check that out. Thank you so much for being with me today. It's been honestly a real pleasure just to hear about you and what you're doing, because I think just bringing people together and supporting people and knowing that it's okay to make mistakes and be in discomfort is everything, because we all feel it. We just often don't say it. So you're doing so many wonderful things, and it's a real privilege to just be here with you and to share this time. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed our conversation as well.
Yeah,
Thanks,
me
Kat.
too. Thank you. Here we go.
Ah.